Plant cells share many of the same features as animal cells. They too have a nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and lysosomes. But plant cells are different from animal cells in other respects. Plant cells, like animal cells, have a cell membrane, but they also have a thick cell wall surrounding this membrane. Many plant cells also have large sacs called vacuoles. A vacuole contains fluid consisting of water, sugars, and other things. A vacuole full of fluid is like a balloon full of water and keeps a plant cell rigid. When the vacuoles of a plant cells lose their fluid and dry out, the cells can no longer provide rigid support. As a result, the plant wilts.
Many plant cells, particularly in leaves and stems, have tiny green bodies in them called chloroplasts. Chloroplasts make it possible for plants to manufacture their own food through photosynthesis. Photosynthesis requires energy from sunlight. It also requires carbon dioxide gas from the atmosphere.
The cells of plants. Plants are living organisms that live on sunlight, water, and soil. They make their own food through a reaction called photosynthesis, which also creates the oxygen we breathe. Like all living things, plants are made of cells. Plant cells are structured differently than animal cells. This video will give a brief explanation on the structure of plant cells. This is what a typical plant cell looks like. Each organelle inside this plant cell has a role. First off, we have the nucleus. This is the nucleus. The nucleus is the brain of the cell. A nucleus consists of nuclear membrane, a two-layered membrane surrounding the nucleus of a living cell. Nucleolus, a small round body inside a cell nucleus composed of protein and RNA. Nuclear pore, the opening in a nuclear membrane. Chromatin, the substance that forms chromosomes and contains DNA, RNA, and various other proteins. Nucleoplasm, the matter protoplasm in a cell nucleus. The nucleus also has its own transportation agency, which it uses to move materials in and out of the cell. This is known as the endoplasmic reticulum. This is the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is a complex system of tube-like membranes in the cytoplasm of the cell that is responsible for the synthesis and transport of materials in and out of the cell. There are two types of ERs. The first one is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The SER is mostly concerned about the metabolic processes such as synthesis of lipids and steroids and the carbohydrate metabolism. The second one is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The RER is a rough-looking tube-like structure that has beady things embedded into it. Those ball-shaped organelles are known as ribosomes. The ribosome's main purpose is to manufacture protein. The ribosomes in the reticulum synthesize all proteins moving in and out of its membrane. The next organelle is the most unique organelle because only plant cells have them. They are known as chloroplasts. This is a chloroplast. The chloroplast contains a pigment called chlorophyll that gives plants their green color. Chloroplast consists of the outer membrane, the inner membrane, Thylakoids, which are membranous structures that resemble sacs in which photosynthesis takes place. Stromata, stroma for singular, are fluid-filled interior of a chloroplast containing enzymes and light-trapping components required for photosynthesis. Grana, or granum for singular, are stacks of thylakoids. So now we know the purpose of chloroplasts. Next is an organelle most people don't know about or just confuse it with the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It is called the Golgi body. The Golgi body is a membranous structure in the cytoplasm of cells. Its function is to pack and transport proteins. The difference between the Golgi body and the endoplasmic reticulum is that the Golgi body packs the macromolecules of protein, while the endoplasmic reticulum produces the proteins and lipids. Now we know the function of the Golgi body. The next organelle is a very important organelle called the mitochondrion. The mitochondrion, or mitochondria for plural, is the power plant of the cell. It is a small rod-shaped body found in the cytoplasm of most cells whose function is to produce enzymes for metabolic conversion of food to energy. Without the mitochondria, the cell would be a city without the electricity. Now we know the purpose of the mitochondria. The next organelle we are going to discover is the vacuole. The vacuole is a membranous bag compartment in the cytoplasm of a cell that stores water, salts, proteins, nutrients, sugars, and sometimes pigments for flowers. It acts like a large storage facility inside the cell so the excess material doesn't go to waste. The next thing we're going to talk about is not an organelle, but a frame that shapes the plant cell. In fact, only plant cells have this layer. This is known as the cell wall. This is the cell wall. The cell wall is the outermost layer of a cell in plants and some fungi. It is made out of a complex carbohydrate called cellulose. The strength of the wall allows the plant cell to absorb water without bursting. The wall protects the plasma in the cell. Last but not least, we have the most important thing in a plant cell. In fact, this material is present in all cells, and you have been hearing about it all through this video. The last thing we're going to learn about in this video is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the complex chemical compound and structure within a cell, excluding the nucleus. The cytoplasm has many chemicals in it. Some of them are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. The cytoplasm keeps all organelles in their places like glue. Cytoplasm is like the fluid of life. Cells wouldn't function properly without it, and organisms would cease to exist. So not all the parts of the plant cell have been discussed in brief and labeled. I hope this video has been informative and interesting.